Good morning, everybody. This is Paul Volberding. First of all, along with Connie Benson, we'll hear from Connie in just a second. I'd like to welcome you to the course. We're calling this the Chicago course because it used to be in Chicago. Some of you are still from Chicago, but this has turned into a virtual international course. We have people from all over the country and other countries as well. And this is our third, maybe hopefully last purely virtual course. This is a course of the International Antiviral Society USA. And we have a good program today. We look forward to kicking it off. So could I have the next slide? Yes. Again, 30 years we've been doing this course. And it used to be so good to see everybody in person, but again, we hope to come back to those days very soon. Next slide. And by the way, you had a chance to learn about Zoom as though you needed to learn about it during the kind of the intro this morning. And how to use the features of this course. So we'll give you a chance to exercise your responses to various questions. This is another program of a very comprehensive approach to HIV management education that the IAS-USA organizes. And this slide shows a number of the programs that we're really proud to have put on over the years, and still we manage the CROI, the Retrovirus Conference that everyone I know is aware of. We do webinars, we do informal discussions that have been very popular. We help provide education to the Rhine-White programs across the country. And we publish things. We have our own journal topics in antiviral medicine, but very importantly, we have published over the years a number of instances of reviews of resistance mutations that especially used to be really important in management. And Roger, one of our speakers, will talk more about that. He's been very involved in the latest version of the antiretroviral guidelines that were just published this week in JAMA. Very proud of that, and we know they're going to be very important. And there's going to be a special IAS-USA program in a couple of weeks, or in about a week actually, going through the updated guidelines, and maybe Mike Sag, who has been very involved in this as well, will have things to say about that as well. So again, welcome to all of the courses that we provide for your education. Next slide. As I mentioned, Constance, Benson, we have always over the years tried, when we have a regional meeting, to have at least one of our IAS-USA board members. That would be me in this case. But we also try to have somebody who is from the region. And Connie started out her career at Rush in Chicago, and has been very involved in work there before she migrated west. And Connie will be joining us. Next slide. So again, welcome attendees. And I mentioned that you represent HIV providers from across the country, and you see the various countries that are represented. Some have been very involved in the ongoing World Cup. Others, I'm sorry to say, including those from the U.S., are now out of the action. But best wishes to those that are still in the mix. Next slide. And again, this is we're very excited by this. I'm very excited because it's the first time I'm not actually directly involved in the guidelines, but good people are, even with my absence. These guidelines have been really important over the years to provide a fairly brief and yet comprehensive review of the information needed to really improve the management of HIV infection, which is one of the main goals of our organization. And you see the masthead there, and we're really also appreciative of JAMA, which has given us a good deal of space. Every time these are published, they end up being among the most cited JAMA papers. No surprise, because we put a lot of work into them. And you see here the link to the article, and also the invitation to join on December 15th for a review of the guidelines. And maybe I'll mention it now, just because it'll come up later. I'm sure that all of the slides from this program will be available to attendees after this course. Next slide. So we are a CME provider, and we'll talk about that in a second. But as part of ACCME activities, we are asked, and we enjoy actually asking our audience a sense of their knowledge about some of these areas before the course, and then we encourage our speakers to make sure that they're addressing the questions that you've been asked, so we can see if you're listening and learning from this program, which we obviously hope. And we know that you're a good audience. Your average score was 65 even before you took the course, so the bar is set high for us to try to get that up. We hope to hit 80% at the end of the course, but again, it's a really important part of what we're doing, and tracking how we're doing these activities is super important. Next slide. In terms of CME, I won't read this all, but you know that we are a fully accredited member of the ACCME, and they have, in reviewing our materials, designated this course for 4.25 hours for physician AMA credits. And the next slide will show that we also provide, we recognize that certainly HIV care is not just the activity of MDs. It's really a team effort, and we try to make sure that nurses and pharmacists and others that are involved in the care of our patients get credit for this course. So very important. Next slide. And with that, I'm going to turn the program over to my co-moderator, Constance Benson from UC San Diego, who will continue this and welcome you as well. So thank you very much.
So thank you, Paul, and welcome to everyone in the audience. I just we're showing this slide to reiterate that this activity is partly supported by not just the IAS-USA and our national educational effort, but from some charitable contributions from many of the people that we all work with in the care of HIV and some of the other co-infections that we deal with in our patient population. So this slide just reiterates the supporters of these programs and their level of support. Next slide, please. There is information about financial relationships with ineligible companies for all faculty and planners, and that's available online in your modular e-syllabus. And each speaker will also be outlining any financial relationships prior to their presentation. Just so that you know, IAS-USA staff and our faculty have identified and resolved ahead of time any potential conflicts of interest that may influence this CME activity with regard to exposition or conclusion. So I just want you to know that we pay attention to this carefully, and have done so in anticipation of this conference. Next slide, please. So the PowerPoint presentation slides will be available following the course. There are handouts available in your modular e-syllabus. Some of those represent the actual slides that are being used, but may also contain material that is not on the actual presentation slides. But please be assured that you will have access to the PowerPoint presentation slides. Next slide, please. So briefly, today's agenda will start with our first speaker who will be talking about broadly neutralizing antibodies, and we'll move on to, in case you missed it, an update from IAS and recent literature, antiretroviral therapy cases. And after each of these morning sessions, there will be a question and answer session, and we'll have a break at approximately 10:55 Pacific time. That may correspond to wherever you are. So I'm not going to use up any more of our speakers' time. Our afternoon agenda will review again following our break, and let's move on to the next slide.